Ridgefield, Connecticut's Board of Select Persons renegotiates its lease agreement with Ridgefield's Contemporary Theater. ACT. Rudy Marconi, first select person. Board members present: Sean Connolly, Maureen Coas-Lark, and Barbara Manners. And absent Chris Murray. From ACT, Daniel Levine, artistic director, and Aaron Craig, producing director.
Is the ACT Theater lease. Both Dan Levine and Aaron Craig are here. Come on down. Thank you. And what time is it?
8:25.
8:25. That's the closest I've ever been. I told them probably 8:30, right?
Oh,
right. How are you? Good to see you.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, how are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
This way. You all got a copy of the lease. I believe it was in color. On page 2 is one of the reasons we're here, but also I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is looking at going into a capital campaign. Is that true? I think.
Yes, and it more so has to do with government grants.
Okay.
For the lease extension.
That's what, and we've done this with other, like Lounsbury House, when they got a grant to fix the house.
Right.
They were required, they wanted at least a 25-year lease for the grant program. So that's why they're here too. They're in the first renewal term. The original lease expired February 22. Both signed, Aaron, you signed the renewal. We approved it here for the first 5-year renewal. They have 2 more. So they would like to get it to the 25-year.
Okay.
Beyond what this lease says. Secondly, and perhaps as important if not more, is in the current lease, the tenant shall make any and all repairs and replacements and shall also maintain the water, and it goes on. And in parenthesis at the end of it, it says including the roof. And the roof is not in good shape. It is leaking.
We don't do that with any other town building, do we?
No.
In other words, every other town
At
building.
501s, the ones who are for profit, like a Bassam Fellows, did their roof.
Right.
The not-for-profit, we usually take care of it, although I think the Legion may have put their roof on. I'm not sure on that. Maybe, no, we did it. We did the Legion as well. So, yeah, that's why they're here tonight. The roof is leaking.
But you're not a 501c3.
Of course.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, you are.
But we spent
It's such
Two
that's
weeks.
a misconception in town, I think.
Yeah.
I know.
You know why? Because
No.
it's equity acting, and they think.
Because our union is equity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The automatic assumption is, and it's incorrect, but that it's for profit. They're paying people to act there. Not true. You're not for profit.
Definitely not for profit.
Right, and there's no question the impact you've had on the community has been a very positive one, and we're very, very thankful. I speak for myself, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone at this table. It is an incredible asset to the community. Thank you for everything you do, because we know you do spend a few hours there. Probably more than you would like or you ever thought of, but you know, when you love doing something and you see those audiences and they appreciate everything you do, it's a great reward, I'm sure. So you do an excellent job, and thank you for what you give to this community.
Thank you for saying
So back to the roof. The roof is leaking. What was it, 2 weeks ago? We were putting towels up.
It was during the run of $1 Million Quartet.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 weekends in a row.
We had.
We were up on the roof. We traced everything. Had a roofer come and tarred the joints, tarred where the roof drains are, and lo and behold, drip, drip, and there were people sitting there, and that's not a good show.
We were mid performance, and it started raining out of the audience's head. It's happened before this season, but just not during a performance. We're always, oh God, please don't rain tonight. Please don't rain tonight. But it happened too, and yeah. So it's been a problem for the theater and for you know, it's like. Our run of $1 Million Quartet was sold out, totally sold out, standing room only. You know, there was a wait list of 20 people, and yet we had to take 8 chairs off because it was raining on people. If we were meant to pay for the roof, it would be a huge hardship for the theater, and we would not be able to do that. It's just interesting that it's not in our lease, and that we are, we have an agreement with the town and a lease with the town. The town is our landlord, and the fact that the roof is
We
not
discussed it, and I said the only way to do it, I have to bring it to the Board of Selectmen. We have to talk about it.
Well, when you did initially, when we came to the agreement of the partnership or whatever, and you did do a lot of renovation on that building.
Everything
because it
inside.
was right. So it was only the inside. You didn't do anything on the outside, or even though the roof was listed in the lease as something that you should look at.
Yeah, it hadn't leaked. I mean, it wasn't leaking then, but we renovated the entire inside.
Yes.
And then there was that front office where part of the building was cut off. Do you know? So that we did all the work there, and work or the outside of the exterior. But then we did brand new HVAC and HVAC, all of it, all the ducting, all the ductwork, all the electrical, everything.
Bless.
Brand new
nothing on
bathrooms.
the roof.
And nothing on the roof.
Do we know?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, do we know? Like, I'm sure there's a template for something. Do we think we just maybe pulled the wrong template? I'm just curious.
No.
The origin of this.
No, this was a negotiated lease by two people that aren't on the board any longer.
Sure.
With a representative of ACT that really isn't.
It's not involved.
It's not involved anymore.
I guess what I'm curious if every other 5013C has all that excluded, but this one, like, why do we do that, right?
This was a huge undertaking when the town made the commitment to even just buy the Schlumberger property, so that there was a lot of
We better get our money
baby
back.
steps that we had to take in order to effectuate all the changes that we were doing in town and pay for the property and keep it as open as we could and all of that. And I believe that when the negotiation was done, the board was being mindful of expenditures, just like you are now. I mean, and we have to too. We just went through a budget season. We took roofs out of our budget because
for
the schools and for town buildings, because they were
Just
so much
one
money.
school. Right.
Well, there's so much money that we had to. Our capital projects were modified, and they're not included in this year's budget. So going forward, that's another $2.5 or $3 million that we're going to have, that the town is obviously responsible for. So it wasn't an oversight; it was a negotiation.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if it was like the wrong thing pulled, or if it was, we all agreed to this, but
we did.
Has different outcomes to me.
We did, and it may be that at the time, when we entered into this lease, we were negotiating, as I recollect it, with construction people, who, and maybe, they just felt they were going to be doing the construction, they could take care of it, or whatever, and so they didn't push back against us, and we, normally a tenant will say, I'm not responsible for this, that, and the other, but maybe these tenants.
Well, we can't second guess why someone signed a lease, Barbara. We had an agreement, so we did negotiate it. So this was, this is a reopening of the lease and a new negotiation, actually, if that's what we're looking for.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
That's what we're doing.
Because I think we went through something like that with the playhouse with the
Extend lease
bathrooms,
too.
right? We had something that was pretty clear in the lease, and then they kind of came back and said, well, I know it's in the lease, but can we renegotiate because of some renovations, right?
We picked up what we've been doing for years is take care of infrastructure and fire suppression, things that if ACT weren't here tomorrow and we wanted to lease that building,
Yeah, you still would need to.
could you lease it with the roof as is? And the answer is no. And that's how we looked at the playhouse. That's look at the theater barn. Look at, we've certainly helped Lounsbury House over the years.
Oh my God, yes.
And is this entity any different? And do we have one play, or we have a couple of different plays going? And the attempt here is to bring it all into a common lease, where we do take care of the roof and other issues, the paving, the outside, the maintenance of the grounds. I think the lease is within 5 feet or 10 feet.
Yep.
And we take care of everything. But this one was negotiated differently. So that's why we're here to talk
But
about that.
this one is, it's good through when? So it's
It's been renewed.
it's been
We're in
renewed.
the first year of renewal.
First of the 5-year renewal.
There were 3 5-year renewals and the original, so it was a total of 20 years.
Yep, yep.
And we're in the second year of the first renewal.
Right. We're starting our 7th season in September.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I just want to ask that, yes, this is a negotiation for the lease. Like, we can't do it. Like, we can't, we need the town's help, and we need, the roof needs to be done. Needs to be done when we're not in production. We would go under if we were meant to fix the roof. We would. And it just seems that, you know, we love this community, we love this town. We've done, I feel like we have brought so much to this town, I really, really do. And brought people to this town that you know, are new. And we
If
have,
they can find their way to the
if they can find their way to the which they can
Well,
have
they
thanks to
can
the
now,
signage.
it's fine.
Yes.
Yes.
But you know, the town, we did all the asbestos remediation and, you know, in the building. We made this building, so yes, if ACT went under, you got a great building. We did a
Yeah.
lot. We was a ton of money for the, you know,
But they did the fire suppression, they did all of that infrastructure work, which was my original, that's where I
Right,
was
well, that was
going
why I
with
was
it.
asking you.
And didn't
because,
ask
like,
for
yes,
anything.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I just want to, for the record, like, the town hasn't given us any funding. They like,
Just the ARPA funds.
the ARPA funds,
You
which
participated
everybody
in
got,
that through the Arts
that's
Council.
right.
Right.
Yep. But, you know, I know that the Playhouse has been given money at times. I know that the Theater Barn has at times. We're just asking for the roof to be covered. You know?
With the Playhouse, just to be clear, we did the original, we did some funding, but I don't think, with the most recent
Yeah.
expansion we did,
Yep.
the infrastructure.
Mhm.
We had a lot of remediation, if you recall,
Yes.
in the basement area, and then the fire suppression,
Right.
which was a huge number for us.
And we did it.
And another expense that's going to come up for us, is that we have a second lease with you for the other building for our
Skydome
storage,
building.
the Skydome building, which of course
Storage.
will likely go away because of the new police or fire, whatever that's going to be, and that's we have a lease with you. I don't know what we pay, a few hundred a month or something like that, 400 a month.
Yeah, that's
I think.
about that.
But it's a big space for all of our costume and our sets and our storage. Every inch of that floor is taken up, and I don't, it's going to be a huge cost when that building goes away for us to figure out another place.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we made.
Yeah.
We had an agreement. It came here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
That was about 2 years
what
after.
What I do need to do, and I did not talk to Jason about this, Jason Bucksbaum, our attorney, is whether what we're doing is a substantive change to the
I was
lease.
thinking about that. It feels like
I
it is. That we
I
have
think
to
it is.
I think it is.
So
yeah.
we would
Yeah.
generate a public hearing in a town meeting.
I think we should get a number also on how.
Oh, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, Jake's getting that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you give the approval, what we were talking about is if we could at least do, there's 1, 2, 3 sections, 4 sections. It's kind of broken up.
Yeah.
2 main levels, and then over the ticket, I think, office is.
Yeah, there's the box office, and then the underground part, and then the fourth, and then the step up to over the audience.
So the leak is in one section, so what I was thinking of doing is tell Jay, just see how quickly we can get in and get that done to prevent the leaking in the theater. With the understanding that we would have to finish the rest of it as well. With our luck, we'll finish that one section, the next one will start leaking right away. I'm hoping not, because the roof is all the same age. What's developed there are little pinholes in the decking, the aluminum decking that goes up there. They're pinholes that have developed because of the age. Roofers have looked at it, and we had the fire department there that day. I wasn't going to go up the ladder, but Aaron did.
So
Yeah. Have they looked at anything? I don't know. I was just. Could Jake take a look at it for solar? Any kind of solar implication?
We could. There's some trees that have to come down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a big old maple right between Bassam Fellows.
We don't want to take big old maples.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
It's a beautiful tree.
I don't want to do
It's
that.
not in the prime of its life, it's at the end, I think, because branches, a few things, you look on the roof, you can see little, not twigs, but branches are.
I thought it was more out in the open. I thought the whole situation was more out in the open.
I don't know, we can look at it. I'll have Dwayne.
The first
Dwayne Escola will look at
You
it.
know, yeah,
Yeah, but we wouldn't do it unless we fix the roof.
correct. Well, it's something to look at.
No, that's a good idea.
So,
But I guess, my feeling is, I don't know how this was negotiated or why, but I would have guessed as landlords, we would have been responsible for that infrastructure of the roof. So to me, it doesn't seem like it's that outrageous to
Right.
renegotiate it
right.
to include that, but
Not at all.
again, I don't know how it came
So
to it in the
the
first place.
funding, where are we gonna get the money from? I talked to Jake, and LOSUP certainly covers this.
Okay.
What's not in the budget is an additional 250, 80,000 a year we're getting for the current year and next year. So I would allocate those additional funds, which qualify under LOSUP capital expenditures, to the roof. And I think we should be able to get it done for 160, the whole thing, but we're getting a number to be sure. But I know
That
we can
seems
at
very
least,
low.
It
It's
seems
not
low
big, it's
compared to
not
what.
big.
it's not a huge roof.
It's,
You think it's big, it's not big.
You
Oh,
can
yeah,
walk up
yeah.
in between the buildings, you can look right at it.
Yeah.
It's at ground level.
Okay.
it's a very small theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Jake
understand that.
said,
Yeah,
I
there
don't
are
know, around a
schools
couple
and-
hundred, probably, but I think it's $38 a square foot we're thinking now.
So you'll get a number on us, on
Oh,
first,
yeah.
so we'll have an idea
Oh,
of that
yeah.
first, okay.
Yeah. But if we do that, I would like to commence that as ASAP, because it is leaking.
And another
Unless we-
production coming up.
The only way to address that is to throw a tarp over it.
Yeah, but will Jake be, you're in production for your next show is coming up, right? Isn't
We-
Kinky Boots
2
like right
weeks.
around the corner?
Well, rehearsal starts in 2 weeks and we open.
The Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
So
we
there's,
had people in the building tonight. We had a choir concert, so we had all these kids. We had over 125, people plus all the kids, and we just crossed our fingers
It didn't rain.
that it wasn't going to rain.
It will
Because
tomorrow.
we would have had to cancel, because at this point it is right over the center of the theater, and
Yeah.
then we were like, what do we do with the kids?
It's
So
also dangerous because it's over our lighting equipment.
Oh,
yeah.
Is there a tarp up there now, or?
no, they said it wouldn't
No.
help, but we don't know.
Well, let's have Jake move on as quickly as possible, and see if it can't be done.
And then
before
move
the
forward and redo the lease, and then schedule the public hearing at the town meeting.
right.
Yeah, I think so.
Do we want to set a date tonight, knowing that we're just going to extend it so they have the 25-year from going forward from now, and then remove the clause including the roof?
Yeah, there's no reason not to, right?
That's fine.
So look at your calendar. Our next meeting is April 24th. We could do a public hearing, and then the first meeting in May is the 3rd or the 5th.
Is it right after the town meeting?
Yeah, it's 2 days after. So what's the first Monday in May? I don't
The
know.
first, but that's
The
a
first.
week.
So it's the
May
3rd.
1st.
I think we
But
have
I
a
think
meeting.
it's the 8th.
No, oh, wait a minute.
I
The
thought
first
it was-
Monday in May is the first Monday is the
It's the
6th.
6th.
Yeah.
So our first meeting is the 8th. Yeah. That would be the town meeting night. But we'll go ahead and get the prices, and as long as the board recognizes that we'll be allocating the money from LOSUP,
Yes.
we're okay to go. It doesn't require an additional appropriation, so we don't need to go to the Board of Finance. That's not part of the general fund.
Great. Great.
So, someone care to make a motion
I'll make the motion.
that we move forward with an allocation out of the LOSUP fund to cover the cost of the roof repairs?
Rudy just made a motion.
And B,
He said the public hearings.
Are we sure, I'm supporting it. I
It's moving
absolutely,
fast. I know what you're saying.
but I just would love to have a number before we make a motion to.
well, we were not gonna do anything until I come back with a number. I'll let you all know.
But if
the
we make a
number.
note, but that is, you're including you're making a motion to
We have a roof
repair
that's
the roof.
leaking.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
I wish that you had a number.
We can do it not to exceed.
Well, okay.
Because we can do a section, and then if it's going to be a lot more to do the rest of it, there's no way that that section is going to cost more than $150,000.
Okay.
Can't. Even at $38 a square foot, what is that? Maybe 80 by 80? Is it 80 feet?
It's just not big.
I don't know, I'm sorry. I don't know what it actually is.
We can go. You want to go drive over there now? You know, like
That's
that.
okay.
We have a step ladder.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like, it's leaking. We have to do it. You can't just, because I don't think we get to the point where we say, well, gosh, it's 120. That's okay, but if it's 160, sorry.
I'm not saying that
No.
we're not going to spend the money, Sean. I just wanted to get an idea of how much money it was vis-a-vis the LoSiP money that we had.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all.
Yeah,
I
no, that's
don't think
totally
that's
fair.
unreasonable
No,
to ask.
no.
Do we have any idea, Rudy, when Jake will have those numbers?
When, what's today? Wednesday? So it's supposed to be today. I'll check with him tomorrow. Like,
Thought I would ask.
we've been down this road for a while. Yep, we're going to have them Wednesday, and then it's Thursday, then it's Friday, and
Well, now you're telling me there's a crunch,
yeah, it's
because the board wants to move.
okay. I got a letter from him, but it's not an email, but it's not about that.
Of course not.
So
He's a
I
busy
was
guy.
an application. So Maureen doesn't feel comfortable.
Well, I'm kind of having roof whiplash, to be honest. I mean, again, I'll just share. We had all the roofs that we couldn't put in this capital project because they were $2.5 million or more, and now we have a roof that's a baby roof, and it's only going to cost us $150,000. It
That's
just
exactly
seems like
correct.
okay.
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Okay.
It's a baby roof.
We have a baby roof.
When you look at a school and think about 40, 50,000 square feet,
Right.
that's huge.
Right.
And we wanted to increase the insulation for the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne is emphatic about that, the energy committee, about increasing the amount of insulation because, like our own bodies, the heat goes through the top, out our heads, out of the roofs, and it helps us save some money.
And is that school like canceling school days because
It's leaking.
It's the
Oh
current
yeah,
leaking?
there's library. There's areas that are leaking. That
We do
Yeah.
have some leaks. in
We have
roofs,
leaks.
and we'll patch.
Yeah.
And for example, today I was talking about that. Do we look at a patching program like we did in the late 80s and throughout the 90s where we didn't do any roof
That's
work?
all
We
we
just
did.
patched and patched and patched. That is one way to address it, and that would cost a lot less right now where we took the section out that we've identified as the leaking area and just did that section, but it's a lot of disruption for that little area. When the panel right next to it could be leaking in 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, it's not.
That's why I'm talking about that smaller area.
This is the original roof to Schlumberger.
It is.
Wow.
I mean,
It's lasted. All right.
Yeah.
Well, someone's making a motion. I don't want to hold up a motion. I just wanted to.
So
So you were making the motion, and I'm sorry, I was
He
conflating it.
phrased it for me perfectly.
So with the motion, it's the two parts, right? It's
two
The
parts,
motion
two
is in
things.
two parts.
One is the allocation of
Yeah.
funding currently to cover the repair work on that one section, that
Right.
whole section, not
So-
just that one little panel.
Yeah.
And
But in B, to modify
by
the lease, to be
to extend it,
Yep.
well, to modify the lease, to amend that provision, but also we want to extend the lease and make it just a plain 25-year lease.
Right.
And as part of that, propose a town meeting for, what do you say,
And propose it.
Public hearing for the 24th.
for the 24th and then
And
the
a
8th?
town
And the town
meeting for the
meeting for
8th.
the 8th.
Yeah,
Right.
I will second that. Lovely.
And we are delighted that you want to stay for 25 years.
Dan, are you staying for 25 years?
you have another 20 in me.
Okay.
Can we get your signed contract for those?
In blood.
Yes, that's
25
right.
years.
You know how that is.
We're good.
So we have a motion made and seconded. Any questions from the public? You're in. Kurt, you the man. There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you both for being here tonight and what you do for the community. We do appreciate it.
Thanks. Well, I always say at every curtain speech that we consider ourselves lucky to live in a town where the arts are considered vital to a thriving society. I don't know that we would have survived the pandemic in any other town.
Barbara taught me everything I know.
Yeah.
We will see you at Kinky Boots.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Thank you.